definitely comparison is the thief of joy. Every single wrestler, no matter what they say, does it without fail and will do it consistently. To see someone else doing well, you go, what are they doing that I'm not? What do they have that I don't? I don't want to see that person do well. Someone just said that I was a very vanilla wrestler, whatever I was doing, and just try and find something to latch onto, like a character. But again, it wasn't really me. I was trying to do something, just not playing what my personality would be. And as soon as you're doing that, it's really hard. I'm starting to be more comfortable in my own skin, and I think that did bleed way more into allowing myself to be comfortable in the wrestling skin, rather than I have to portray a character, I have to portray this, or otherwise I won't get booked. And once that got me, I was like, that's eased my mind so much more. It's expectation to be at a certain point in your life. I should be here by this age. I had that really recently. Self-talk, like, oh my God, like I'm 30 years old, like, you know, where should I be? Don't try and hold yourself like accountable to where you think you should have been at a certain time, because you could be 2 years later and be somewhere you didn't expect in a good way. You just have to basically keep showing up, keep working, keep training, keep networking, keep having good attitude, having good energy, bringing good energy wherever you go.
Do you feel like you have received back from the business as much as you've put in?
No, but wrestling doesn't owe me it.
What if the person you're trying to become is actually taking you further away from who you really are? If you're new here, welcome to the show dedicated to men who are becoming more self-led and building meaningful lives. This episode today is part of a series where I step into something I call the Max Moody Lens. It's not a different person, but rather a different way of seeing things. A more unfiltered, expressive way of questioning identity, performance, and meaning. I'm exploring the psychology of professional wrestlers, specifically the space between the character they present and the person behind it. In this episode, I'm joined by the Maverick, Tommy Kyle, a wrestler wrestling with comparison, the pressure to be further ahead, and the uncomfortable reality that hard work doesn't always give you the return you expect. If you found value in this one, support the mission by subscribing and leaving a review. It helps the show grow, and that means that we can reach more men who are becoming the man they know they're capable of being. For this one, I'm Max Moody, and this is the Growth Voyage podcast. Enjoy. Okay, the red light is on. Tommy.
Sir.
Welcome to the lounge.
Thanks for having me, dude. We're here.
You're very welcome. I just want to know, who is Tommy Kyle?
So Tommy Kyle is a professional wrestler from the UK who's been wrestling for maybe 10 years next year. He is the absolute maverick. He is the top gun. And he elevates people to the highest level, being in the ring or around him. That's what he's about.
I'm just letting that sit and digest. Quite a lot to unpick there. There's two different strands I want to explore. One, which is this maverick.
Sure.
So I'd like to know what that is. And then there's this other element of elevating the people around you. So let's go down this road first. Maverick, Top Gun, like what is that?
I mean, so if we're creating the character at the point, it was to just purely to stand out, having like a YMCA character. They say pick from things that are literally like milkman, fireman, blah, blah, blah. Something that's just like a job, right? And so it started off as like a pilot, and then the pilot turned into something that could be a bit more myself, which wasn't so over the top. When I was full pilot before, it was like full commercial, like catch me if you can type airline pilot, like Leo DiCaprio, and I think it's that film. And then it was quite hard to keep doing that in the ring. So the Top Gun aesthetic is a little bit more me. It's a little bit truer to who I am. I can be more my personality. And it allows me to wrestle a style that is more comfortable to me as well than trying to wrestle someone that I wasn't. And I just always like the term Maverick and what it means and what it like portrays in the films as well for the Top Gun films. And absolute just means obviously definite, non-arguable.
So what definition of Maverick you say?
So I guess it's to be like uncopied, marches to the beat of his own drum, sort of takes risk taker, I guess, to a degree, but it's more of a fact, I guess, just taking the step that no one else will. That's kind of what it is in the films, is that, you know, he is the guy to do the feats that no one else thinks is possible, or no one else wants to take the step to do.
Well, that naturally leads me to my next point of question, which is, you said uncopied? Did you say?
Sure. Yeah. I think that's probably a little bit less true now as time has gone on, but like, as I see more Top Gun-esque characters. Yeah, I'd like to try and be as unique as possible. I don't think I would say I'm the most unique thing out there, but I try and change like little bits of the character to try and not be a complete Top Gun ripoff anymore. It used to be the exact jacket and everything, and now it's a little bit closer to some things that are a bit more personal to me, but still that aesthetic.
This sense of standing out, has that always been a value of yours, not just inside the ring, but outside?
I think it helps you in life generally. I think you have to sort of stand out in some certain ways. Like if it's for job interviews, it's for dating, if it's for being picked for like a film part, or like having a song used, or being booked on a wrestling show. I think standing out in some way, it doesn't have to be the most unique, over the top thing that you look like a weirdo compared to everything else, but just enough that someone takes notice of you. If there's a crowd of 10, something about you catches the eye, catches the ear, and just makes people go, okay, there's something about that guy. Let's revisit that. Let's put a pin in that.
Well, that's something I've always resonated with. It's like, right, sure, see what the crowd are doing, and then just do the opposite.
Sure, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
And I think for me personally, my biggest fear, or like my thing, it's like the one thing I just would never want to do is just do what everyone else is doing. It's almost I've become so far on the other side of the spectrum now. It's like anything that's conformity at all.
Right.
I'm just like, nah, not for me. Was it the same for you? Did you always have that chance to express yourself fully, or has that been a journey in and of itself?
I think it's still a journey that's ongoing, to be honest. There's things that I want to change and like do more to stand out. Like I think a little bit of what I do for me has grown a bit stale. I like what I do because I'm so used to it now, but I think it's not pushing me or challenging me anymore. I'd like more time to be able to think of something now to push and challenge me, and maybe that time will come and I'll be able to swap it out a little bit and have something, maybe a complete rework of a character, maybe just a slight tweak, but something that is going to make me push out, because it got to a point I think I was happy to be sort of just doing what everyone else was doing, and then recently it's standing out enough to be like, okay, I know what I bring is different enough that if we're talking in a wrestling sense, that like I'm booked in enough places that, but like I obviously have a USP. I can obviously bring something. People book me for a reason. But for my own self-worth of standing out and wanting to push myself, I want to switch some things up soon, because like I said, for me it's got a little bit stale.
And was it a journey to just get to this point? Because I'm fascinated by this idea of like, okay, we don't just find ourselves just once. It's like we go through multiple different transitions in our lifetime. So are you alluding to the idea that it took you a while to get to where you are now, and now you've had a season or 2 or 3 in this current version, and now you're ready for the next one? And if so, I'd love to hear about that first journey to finding that first version?
I think I'm definitely ready for the next thing. I think like Chris Jericho is like a perfect example of always constantly changing. And he's done so many different versions of Chris Jericho, and it's always been Chris Jericho, but he's just done so many different versions, and he's always kept himself in the picture and always felt fresh and different. And then he's sort of reverted back to old Chris Jericho versions when he was wanted to, as well, in different points as well, which is great. It always keeps the character and keeps Chris Jericho relevant. I think when I first started, I definitely wanted to just kind of do what was cool and what was trendy at the time. Like I wanted to be like an MMA fighter wrestler when I first started. And I haven't done MMA once in my life, like, which is so stupid. But like I've done like a bit of martial arts, but not done MMA at all. But because at the time, the people were like Kyle O'Reilly and Matt Riddle, and they were the cool new thing on the indies. I was like, oh, I want a bit of that, and that's what I'm going to do. And that obviously didn't last long because I had absolutely no sort of a background to back that up at all. And then for a little bit, I was, like I said, I was like an airline pilot, I think, because it got to the point where I think someone just said that I was a very vanilla wrestler, whatever I was doing, and just try and find something to latch onto, like a character. And I took that as, okay, well, I'm just going to, like, I call it the YMCA of characters, of just, I'm going to look at job roles and throw myself into, rather than trying to make a unique character, I'm going to be like a milkman or a fireman or a policeman or just something like that, and just try and make it wrestling. And I landed on airline pilot. And I tried to do very like Catch Me If You Can, very George Clooney, very sort of cheeky, tongue-in-cheek. But again, it wasn't really me. I was trying to do something, just not playing what my personality would be. And as soon as you're doing that, it's really hard. It's always super hard. As soon as you're trying to play, that's why acting is so difficult, and why I have so much respect for actors. To just play a part like that is so difficult. And it takes a great deal of training, especially when you're doing with all the wrestling things as well. I really struggled with that. So then the Top Gun aesthetic allowed me to relax a little bit of it and become more of a persona than a character, which was way easier for me to focus on. It was also easier for me to channel my real life mannerisms into that character, and people would be like, oh, that's what he's like as a wrestler. I'm like, no, man, that's what I'm like as a person. That's what I'm like as a person. And you can then present that, with your wrestling and everything, and then that becomes part of your performance, rather than just, I don't know, you're going to present the same real life mannerisms, but as soon as you're in the gear and the wrestling, people see it as character. It's not character at all, but it's much easier to present. And that's kind of the journey of where it's got to at the moment.
Well, it certainly seems like that was the point where you started to resonate with the character more, because it was more of what you were like outside of the ring. That's the energy that I'm getting. What I want to know is that discovery of your character, which felt a bit more like you, it felt more authentic. Did that coincide with outside the ring? Did you become more like yourself outside at the same time, or are we talking about two different paths here?
I think that's a good question, actually. I think, I believe there's times where, we all go through different points in our life, and I think that does reflect sometimes into our work, whether it be wrestling or whether it be whatever we do. Real life affects whatever we bring to work or performance in any form. But there was points where I was getting a bit more confident and comfortable with who I was as a person. I was going into my late 20s at the time I switched this character up, where I started to, at the time, think I was learning a bit more and a bit wiser. Hindsight's a great thing. But at the time I was like, okay, I'm starting to be more comfortable in my own skin. And I think that did bleed way more into allowing myself to be comfortable in the wrestling skin, rather than I have to portray a character. I have to portray this, or otherwise I won't get booked, blah, 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 blah. And just trusting the process a little bit and being like, if you will, I'm a big believer in, if you do something long enough, inevitably you will get better at it. And if that's just taking a bit of you and putting it into your work and being like, this is what I'm presenting, you just keep showing it to people. I'm like, this is it. They'll eventually be like, okay, starting to get the idea, starting to see the vision. And then it becomes something where it's like, I'd like to see more of that guy, or I'd like to boo that guy. I'd like to cheer that guy. I'd like to tell that guy to, can we swear? Yeah, I like to tell that guy to like fuck off or whatever. And then it becomes something where you're like, okay, I'm getting booked. I'm doing things right, and it starts to snowball effectively in that way. And so, yeah, I would definitely say that like real life circumstances influence work/wrestling circumstance 100%.
So if outside influences then has a crossover into your wrestling character, would you say it then comes back to wrestling, like that process of becoming a better wrestler then impacts your confidence and who you see yourself as, then that influences your character? How much of a role did wrestling play a role in your own kind of development, so to speak? Because this is quite a big journey, really. Like pursuing an endeavor you're passionate about, and all the trials and tribulations that come with that. What was the role that wrestling played?
As in, like, affecting real life?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess it's confidence building. It's problem solving in a way, and it's being able to kind of think on your feet, keep a cool head, patience, determination, resiliency, consistency. All traits that I think are just useful to have in real life, right? With work or with people or with networking, communication. They all kind of blur in, definitely not in the same way, but all of them do work in a way. If I know that I've got if we go to a show and the ring isn't set up and then it breaks and then the opponent doesn't turn up until late and then you're going through a match and it all goes wrong, and it's very easy to be like, what a shit day. That was horrible. Blah, blah, blah. It's one day. Doesn't matter. Like, it's okay. It's one day. Stuff goes wrong. So when you take that and you go to work and you go, I don't know, with my job being like, the students haven't practiced, or I've lost all of my material, or oh my God, I've spilt coffee all down my like work uniform or whatever. And you're like, hey, it's just one day. And it's little, and they both cross over and things like that. And communication wise, you've got to, in wrestling, you've obviously working with multiple people. You're working with your opponent, referee, promoter, camera crew, other helpers on the show, the crowd. You got to listen, you got to talk, you got to go back and forth. You can't just be my way or the highway. And again, works in real life. You got to know when to put your foot down, when to take your foot back off, when to listen, when to talk. So I do think, they do really cross over, and I do think wrestling has, especially because I've been doing it nearly 10 years now, that it has taught me life lessons that I don't know if I would have learned maybe the way I would have learned in real life, just because I wouldn't have had the access to the networking and socials that wrestling provides.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many elements you listed there. For one, I was reflecting on this recently. I think resilience is probably the most important characteristic you can develop, especially as a man, right? I mean, I think life is essentially just going through challenges. So 100%. The more resilient you come to them, the more you're going to be able to go through life. Doesn't mean it's not going to be challenging.
No, of course.
All the time.
Yeah.
But as you suggest, I think just going, it's just one day. Okay, cool. We've got next day. Let's get straight back up.
Yeah, you have to.
And I know certainly for myself, I remember just that time eventually decreased, the time between, okay, this stuff happening and then me recovering from it and getting back up. It just gradually gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Yeah. And you just become a fucking machine.
That's it. Yeah. You always, there are no mistakes, there are only lessons, right? Like, But then there'll be another lesson and you're like, oh God, this is taking me a while to learn from this one, and because it's a new lesson. But then when you have the same thing, like you said, it takes you way less time because I know how to handle it. I'm all good. I fixed this before. I'll fix it again. But you're right. Life is just going to be all different challenges throughout, especially in nowadays. And yeah, you've just got to get up the next day and do your best, and that's all anyone can ask for you.
That's it. You've mentioned lessons there.
Yeah.
Potentially learning the same lesson more than once.
Yeah.
Or tougher lessons than others. Yeah. Is there one lesson that you've had to keep on learning throughout time?
Real life or wrestling or whichever.
Floor's open.
Ooh. I'll give one for both, I suppose. With wrestling, I guess it's Definitely comparison is the thief of joy. Like, oh my word. Comparison is the thief of joy. And every single wrestler, no matter what they say, does it without fail and will do it consistently. Even when they know comparison is the thief of joy, they will still do it because it's a very natural human emotion to feel. We're in an age of social media. Everything is so accessible. We see everything. We hear everything. And to see someone else doing well, you go, what are they doing that I'm not? What do they have that I don't? And usually, I would say most decent people, that's not even in a malicious way. They ask it. They're not like, I don't want to see that person do well. But a lot of people go, I could do what that person's doing, or I'm as doing the exact same things as that person. So why have they got success? Why have they got whatever they're building? And I don't. And a lot of the time, they might have one thing, they might be doing really well, and their real life might be in the gutter. You never know. They might have been on a really nice holiday and like, oh, look at this, they've painted this beautiful picture of this, and they might be going home to a job that they hate, to a relationship that is not doing well, to a friend or a family member who's recently passed away. You never know. And I think in wrestling, you can only focus on your own progression and measure, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to get out of it? And I think there's two kind of ways. I think there's, I want to be signed, and then there's everything else. And if you want to be signed, then obviously you're going to be pushing yourself as much as possible, doing everything you can, and you really want it, and you put 100% into it. It is your bread and butter. Sure, 100%. If it's anything else, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. There's no, you're not going to be paid a living for it, unless you like set up a school or something like that, which is, some people have, and more power to them. That's what I'd love to do. But if you're just doing like shows, very hard to make a living out of it unless you're signed. So I wouldn't deep it. I wouldn't worry about what everyone else is doing. Everyone's trying to do the same struggle. They're either trying to get signed or it's not that deep. But we all hold ourselves really accountable to what we see around, and everyone's got their own struggles and everyone's got their own progression, and it's an immeasurable. You can't quantify like your progression to everyone else's. It's just not fair, because it's all based on people's opinion, and it's not. There's no gradings, like mass grading system that says people are X good. It's just the opinion of other people have got other people further, or have got other people in places that other people wish they were, and that's it. And so people just need to relax a little bit on it and just try your best and do whatever you can to prove to yourself that you're doing well, and measure your own progression like that. That was a long rant. A real life one. I'll make the real life one shorter, I guess.
Before we dive into
please
that,
go on.
because real life, I'm sure we'll dive into another rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, of course, man. Yeah.
Just want to keep things on top of the mound. For
sure.
You mentioned there, very wise words. Very wise words. Perhaps easier said than done.
Well, easily, 100%, yeah.
Do you think there is space for comparison in the sense that, these darker energies, this driving force can carry us so far, and, we're seeing, hang on, this guy's in this position. That should be me, brother. That ain't going to work for me. Is there space for that? Because then you're going to think, what's he doing differently? Maybe I can learn from that. Maybe I can do better. And perhaps, hey, if you've got a stronger ego, you're going to have thicker skin in what can sometimes be, as you allude to, a tough industry where you need a bit of resilience sometimes.
Yeah. Good point. I think competitive is a better term. I think it's good to have to be naturally competitive to these things. Why? What reason could I not be for matching them? Like, I bet I can do that. Let me try and do as well as they can. It's when it becomes to a point where it's like, oh, fuck them, they don't deserve it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you don't know what they deserve. You don't know what they've done. You don't know how much they've worked to get there. You don't know what they're struggling with. Competitive energy, why it is challenging yourself and being like, okay, let me see if I can do that. Like, and I agree with you in that case of that being like, no, I could do that. I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna push myself to get myself in that same position. Yeah, 100%. But when it goes to the point of they shouldn't have it, I should, It's like, no, no. There's probably a reason why they have it and you don't. Is that if your energy is that, you present it and it comes across. People get negative energy, dude. People can see it. I know when people are bitter, and like I think it comes across right now, and I think more people are, especially in wrestling now, are giving people more chances to people who have good energy, and they might not even be the best like technically in hand, but if they have good attitude, good energy, want to put their best foot forward, there are way more opportunities I think now for people like that for people who are versus people who are complacent, expectant, have a negative energy to them, think they should be owed something. The term is like wrestling owes no one. And I think it owes people who expect to be owed even less.
Man, you just touched upon something there, energy. But I think this is like everything, what you just alluded to there. I wonder if it's always been this way or whether the times have like changed in the last like decade or whatever. But my understanding is like, at least from my personal experience, like it's just a totally different mindset. I found the more I've prioritized my energy and the way I approach things, the more opportunities have just entered my life. And it's like, I don't even, whereas before, I think there was kind of this headspace of like, oh yeah, as you were alluding to, it's like, oh, why is this happening? Or why isn't this happening for me?
Right.
And almost like asking for opportunities, but from that space of like lack or this like bitterness, so to speak, and then not seeing a result and then wondering why.
Yeah.
And I think that is the answer, perhaps. It's like an energetic thing. Like I have found when I prioritize my energy, I don't even need to look for opportunities. They kind of just like
they happen. Yeah.
Is that what you've experienced, and has that been a process of you in terms of understanding your own energy, and what's that process been like?
Yeah, I really agree with you. I think I said it earlier. I think if you do something consistently, if you do something consistently and long enough, you will inevitably get better at it, and you will inevitably get like something from it. It's what I tell people when I teach them like a musical instrument. It's not easy. You won't just get it. No one does with anything. But if you just keep getting at it, there is no way you will inevitably not improve on it. There is no way you will inevitably not get something from it. And I think that is the same with wrestling now. Like, you just have to basically keep showing up. Keep working, keep training, keep networking, keep having good attitude, having good energy, bringing good energy wherever you go. And yes, you're allowed to have times of, oh my God, this is tiring. Oh my God, this is exhausting. Oh, I don't know why I'm doing this. Absolutely, people are allowed to have that, but keep going, and inevitably something does come of it. Whether big or small, it just inevitably something happens to it, just because it can't not happen.
Was there a moment where it clicked for you?
No. Still hasn't. No, it still hasn't. No,
not with wrestling.
No, dude, no, it absolutely hasn't clicked. No, like I don't think there are people that have done WrestleMania that it hasn't clicked for. And it depends what people go click. Oh, I get wrestling. No one does. I think because wrestling constantly changes, the market and the demand for what people want and want to see constantly changes. The next big thing isn't the same as the last big thing. It's something completely different. And then so like to get a hand on wrestling is to like try and get a hand on acting or singing or music. It changes all the time, and it's judged on the opinions. There's no grade system. It's judged on people's opinions. So you're never going to have, in my opinion, you're never going to be able to go, I have solved it. You just got to do the best you can and bring what you think is like a USP or unique to you, and either hopefully people like you or hate you. At least they react to you, and then you have something. But yeah, I definitely haven't solved it. There's no click. There's, again, like we were saying earlier, there's lessons that I've learned that I've been like, oh my gosh, that makes this so much easier. And oh, that's why I was struggling with this for so long. And it's way simpler in my head or to execute if I do this. Or, oh, I was completely looking at it the wrong way. But there's thousands and thousands of those lessons. And like, I'm nowhere near learned them all.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can apply that to life. Like,
100%, yeah.
Like, there's never an end point. There's always going to be more perspectives and insights and skills to unlock, for sure. I just wonder if there must have been a time where you just thought, okay, I've reached, like, maybe it hasn't clicked, but you've reached like a baseline. Like I look at my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, for example. I'm at a space now. I'm nearing about somewhere between 2.5 to 3 years in the sport. Okay,
brilliant.
And I'm at a place now where I feel very confident going into classes, competition. I've still got, again, similar to what you were alluding to, like so much more to learn.
Yeah.
And unlock, like so many different belts and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm at a point where it's like, okay, if someone shows me a technique, sure, I might not be able to execute it in a competition straight away, but I'll understand what they're talking about. And then after a bit of practice, and it will just flow quite naturally. And I very much look forward to every class. There must have been a point for wrestling where you're like, okay, well, I can comfortably like work a match and with anyone and we'll make it work. I mean, with anyone with an asterisk. Maybe,
but I think as soon as you put that asterisk, then there's no click. As soon as you can't put an asterisk to something, and present it as like, yeah, I'm comfortable, or yes, it's clicked, because you'll be like, with this. And as soon as you're doing that, we're like, well, that's not fully clicking then, is it? In my opinion. And like, yes, they're all right. I'm comfortable. I know I can put a match together. I'm comfortable. I know I can do a good match. I'm comfortable. I know what my style is. I'm comfortable. I know what I bring to the table. Already said, I want to change that up, which is unknown territory for me. So then you don't know if it's clicked. So you're then resetting and being like, well, it could not click again. I might have to relearn everything. You may work someone who you're like, oh my gosh, this person works completely differently to me. They're trained in a way that I'm not used to. They've only got one arm or one leg. How the hell do I do this? Like, it's everything is going to be something that goes, oh, okay, well, that might have not gone how I expected, or I didn't think I'd have to think of something like that. So to say wrestling has clicked, yeah, some parts have, but it changes too much and there are too many variables to say that it's clicked. And until it would be my living, that whether it being, if it was signed or running a school full time or whatever, that I earn my money from purely wrestling, I would never say it's clicked for me.
Fascinating. Is there a specific goal that you want? You've alluded to certain outcomes there, being signed, wrestling school. Yeah. Have you got one overarching goal or ambition? I would like to... There's no necessarily goal. I don't want to be signed. I used to be, but I think I'm now in that ballpark of... it obviously could change. Like, if someone was to put a contract in front of me and be like, there's an opportunity, then I don't know. I wouldn't be like, no, I don't want to. My mindset might change. But if we're talking honesty, the life around wrestling is changing and has forever and is constantly changing as well. That it makes it very difficult for me to put the effort in that I was saying earlier that you need to be signed. I respect that how much effort you have to put in to get noticed and to get signed, and I cannot put that into wrestling as it stands. And I'm also getting older, which makes it harder as well. That being said, you never know what the future holds. Maybe something comes around. DDP got signed however old he was, so you never know. But right now, it's not in the forefront of my goals with wrestling. I would love, because I love coaching and I love teaching I love teaching music and I love teaching fitness and things like that. A dream would be to open my own school. I'd love to do that and it do well and make a living off of that. That would be, I think, my dream in wrestling personally, in a coaching role. So maybe if I was signed to NXT in a coaching role, I'd actually love that. I think that'd be great. That'd be perfect for me. But yeah, short-term goals, I don't know, man. I just want to have fun. I just want to push myself, and if I can bring people up with what I've learned, and also learn new stuff for myself, and just create a couple of life experiences, that if I have kids one day or whatever, I can be like, hey, this is what wrestling gave me.
this silly little wrestling thing we do, that would be cool. So I guess that's where I am with it at the moment, which is probably not a popular opinion that's shared by many. I know most people have been like, you know, I want to get signed, and absolutely, but
well, it's important to be honest about your goals too. I mean, how many people say that they want to get signed, but yet aren't putting in the work that they need to do to actually get there?
This is it. I don't think people know how much work it takes.
Man, it is it is everything, and I've noticed myself, because like in a similar way, because it seems to me like, you know, you've got kind of more than one interest. You've got the wrestling, you've got the teaching, and so for you to have gone all in on wrestling, that would have been an avenue for you, but then you would have had to have left behind the teaching and stuff.
Yeah,
it's something I thought about. It's like, actually, I've got all these different passions, but realistically, if I'm doing all at the same time, I'm loving it. I'm not going to become the very best at every single one.
No.
It's just not possible.
No.
Is that a conversation you had to have with yourself? You had to say, actually, am I prepared to go all in on this? Is there a part of you that perhaps would have liked to have seen, oh, what if I went all in on this thing? Or are you quite happy with the place that you're at now?
I'm fairly happy, to be honest. Like I don't think I'm settled at a place where I want to be. I think my path, wherever I'm going, is still branching out, and there's a few roads it can go down, and then a few roads off that. But there was never a point where I was like, nope, that's it. I'm not going to try and get signed anymore. Like like I say, you never know, down the line it might be like, one more go at trying it for a year to get signed as much as I can. I put everything into it. You never know. But no, it just got to a point. I think I had a conversation with someone, and I don't know, they said something. I can't remember who it was, and I can't remember what they said. But they just said something that just made me go, if I had to commit to trying to do it full time, I'd be living a pretty rubbish life. Because you sort of do commit it. The conversation involved, I commit to it, and like I leave my job to commit to it. And I really respect anyone that does and gives it the shot. I'm not saying don't. I think it's really brave, and I really hope they do get somewhere with it, because it's such a ballsy move. Hyperactive, when they went to Japan and they both quit their jobs, I was like, bloody hell, that's amazing. I wish I had the balls to do that. And I really hope they get, well, they've been signed to the Japanese promotion. So yeah, but yeah, I couldn't do it. I think I like to have a bit of security outside of wrestling. Especially because I know what I'm like. I could say I want to put all my efforts into this, but I'm a jack of all trades. I like to do a lot of different things, and I like a lot of different avenues. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, music. Oh, teaching. Fitness or gym or and networking and socials. And I don't think I have it in me to, right now at least, to put it all into wrestling. And I think it's irresponsible for me to say I am, or to act like I am if I'm not.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's this kind of honesty with yourself, right? And this whole like jack of all trades thing, it's certainly been a theme on this podcast recently, and in my own life. And I think there's a real beauty in like what you said there, because it's not just, oh, there's like this fear of going all in, even though there's a part of that, but it's actually like, oh, actually, no, like I'm feeling quite fulfilled in my life with all these different pots I've got myself in. Whereas I think, as opposed to someone who doesn't really, they're comfortable in life, but they're not feeling fulfilled in their everyday activities, they could go all in on wrestling.
Yeah.
But there's a fear that's stopping them. I think that's where, in my view, just fuck it, just like go for it, because you've got nothing to lose. In that sense, and you hear stories like LA Knight, for example, like hearing him talk about his journey, like he, getting into quite late, and for him it's just like, man, like actually being at a point where I'm not just broke all the time.
Yeah.
And he was saying like he was like living like that for so long, and so for him it's like he's finally at a point in his 40s where he can just relax about that side of things.
Yeah.
But then that's the kind of risk you take. Although I can't help but, again, it's come up on this podcast before. It's like, man, you've got like the like two different routes. One's like the comfortable route or the easy route. One's like the hard route. And it's like, at the end of your life, which route would you have liked to have taken? Like, in the sense of like, oh, what if? But again, that's if like there's nothing else really going for you and there is that path. Again, this is all just speaking from personal experience. I left my job and just went all in on my passions.
Yeah.
And it's certainly, I think it can be glamorized. It can be glamorized for sure.
I think so too. Yeah.
You definitely brought a sense of realism to it. And yeah, you know, I think some people might look at my life and think, oh, wow, he's so lucky he's doing all this stuff. It's like, I don't really believe in the luck element because there's like stuff that goes into it. But then there's also trade-offs to all of this, right? There is no kind of security. There is no, I know, safe route. I wouldn't have it any other way personally, but it doesn't come without its challenges. Even though I have chosen the challenges. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Really fascinating conversation. We've touched upon quite a few bases there in terms of the wrestling, the comparison, your ambitions. Interesting about the wrestling school, you said like one day you would like to have that. In terms of that one day, what's stopping you from doing that now? Is it, okay, maybe this is like a long-term thing where I need to build up more experience, more connections? And if so, is this just the path of, okay, let's just keep on doing my thing and let the paths naturally unfold, would you say?
I think so, yeah. Like it's like a lot of it is the financials to do it as well. You got to take something out to put the money into doing a school, and it's something that I've thought about, but it's something I was like, okay, well, if I need to be serious, I need to actually look at funds. And while I'm doing that, like you say, it's a good time to just, I guess, show as many people that I'd be like, I can help in some way. I can offer something, like I know what I'm talking about, and try and get I guess a history of trust and I guess respect, and people being like, yeah, he's someone good to learn from and everything like that, to a degree where I could open and people be like, oh yeah, I'd like to go and learn under him properly. And like I obviously coach at Square One in Hitchin, and that's kind of what that is sort of, I guess, building towards, hopefully at one point, is that it's like, okay, this is doing it here, and then maybe one day I will open my own place, but we'll see. It's a nice thought as it stands. It's not something I'm putting all my chips into at the moment. It's a nice thought. It's a nice what if.
And as we're on the Max Moody Lens, we'd like to go a bit deeper.
Sure.
Not an interrogation.
No.
What is the difference then between this being a nice thought and becoming your reality? Is this something you're going to review over time? Is there perhaps a space of, okay, let's bridge that gap, so to speak? How do we make this?
I think it is purely, it's a boring answer, but I think it is just financials. If I could afford to buy a space and put a ring in it and run, and again have the time to run and hire coaches outside of me to run, then be a much easier thought, and it'd be a much easier thing to act on. But it is the whole putting something into it and I hope it works out. It's tricky sometimes, I think, just to put your money in, but I'm not one of these people to be like, throw my money into it, and if it doesn't work, whatever. If I throw my money into it, it doesn't work, I'm in trouble. It's something like that is the main thing. Like, would I want to do it? Yeah, absolutely. The thought that's not the thought. I'd love to do it. But no, if you were talking realistically, it's the financials to do it. And it's if it doesn't work, what happens? I do think about that kind of thing. And I like the thought process of, you only live once, all or nothing. But I don't want to live once and live terribly because I made a mistake that didn't work.
Is that for you? It's interesting because I think there's studies on this about how a fear of losing something is a bigger drive than gaining a lot of the time.
I think you could do both if you're smart. And I think sometimes it just takes a bit of time. Because I've been able to do things that I'm building up now with my career, which is just, now wrestling is not necessarily slowed down, but it's not now the priority it was. Where before, if you asked me maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, then it's like, God, I really want to get signed. I've been able to put more effort into outside things and build like cool avenues of a career for myself, being all self-employed as well, which is always more tricky. Being able to do this for myself has been really, really cool. It's just taken time. And it's stuff that I didn't think I'd be able to do. And it's stuff I thought about, maybe I'll put all my chips into it. And I didn't. And it's taken longer and it's still going, but it's happening. So I think the same thing could happen with the training school, but I'm just not very adventurous in splooging a lot of money and hoping for the best. It's a boring answer, but I'm just a little bit more careful and tactical.
Well, I think there's something, it's been a theme throughout this whole episode, but I think there's something about kind of being honest. It's a bit like we were saying with the being signed thing, like people wanting to be signed, but they're not putting in the work. And I think you've been, pretty honest with like what it would take to get there.
Yeah.
And there is perhaps another avenue, perhaps different blocks one by one. I do wonder because I would always think like, okay, like money, for example, like maybe there's some US investor who wants to get in on the English wrestling scene. And I don't know. I'm always just thinking like, how can we make this happen?
I mean, if you know a US investor that wants to invest and give it a shot, then we're having a different conversation. Then tell them to get in touch and we'll sort something out. But again, until that day happens, and like I stress, all of the things that I've said in this is not how I think everyone should do it at all. This is just what applies to me in my life and my experience.
Yeah.
Everyone who wants to give it the shot, I please do it. Fingers crossed. I hope it's more, everything and more for you. I really do. This is just what applies to me and me as a person. But yeah, no, like I say, if a US investor wants to give me a shit ton of money, and then it's not my money, brilliant.
Well, if you're listening, you know where to find them.
Hit me up, US investors.
Yeah. Well, fascinating conversation. If we just climb out of this rabbit hole that we dove into,
yeah.
Because we just talked about the wrestling element to all of this, and then the next part was the real life.
I'm about to say, I don't know how we got from one bit to another, to be honest, but definitely went down the moody hole.
Yes. Go deeper. I can't even remember what the original thing was.
Oh, dude, don't right. That's the podcast, isn't it? Yeah.
Hang on, this is why I was just saying before this, I'm like, I don't need notes. That's not me.
Dude, that's
I don't
all right.
need to do it.
That's all right.
Because I think there was one element where we went into, and it was how you've progressed like in the ring, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then there was like outside of it, in terms of like how you've progressed. My brain cells just like clawing onto that last strand. I'm trying to think where it was. Do you remember?
No, I don't. I'm afraid. We definitely went down a rabbit hole.
Okay. We went so far down the rabbit hole that we haven't found a way back. Although, right at the start, while we won't go down the original rabbit hole that I had planned, there was another one which I had right up my back pocket. This is why, if you're hosting the Max Moody Lens, you don't just have one rabbit hole. You don't have 2 rabbit holes. You have 3 rabbit holes. You have many rabbit holes. So, with that in mind, the rabbit hole that I'm throwing to you is at the start. Your character elevates other people. Through your coaching, it seems you elevate people outside the wrestling ring and in it. So my question to you is, why? Why do you choose to elevate others? Was it something that you wish you had received at one point in time? Why is this such a strong value of yours?
I just think it's how the system, I guess, with everything should work. In wrestling or anything, those who come before raise and push the people who are coming after, so that there is something constantly, forever, effectively keeps going. That people are always of a certain level, and I want them to be good, and I don't want me to look bad. So if I have to push you for you to get better and also to keep up with me, then that's what I will do. And by that process, you will be elevated to a different level. It might not be every single box will be ticked off, but you'll definitely go in there and learn something, or you'll be pushed to a limit that you didn't know that you could reach. And that's the objective all the time. If like when you're in there with me, like win or lose, like you're gonna work.
So is the idea from because that all makes a lot of sense to me in terms of like the character side of things. Would a big element of that be if you're elevating your opponent from a like kayfabe point of view, let's say, then that will naturally bring out the best in you. Your kind of like fighting spirit, 100%. So to speak.
Yeah. I don't want to, I don't want my however many matches I have left, which I'm not saying is a small amount, but you never know when your last one is, right? I don't want them to be boring. I want them to be good and me feel like, yeah, I got challenged in that. And sometimes if they're not going to bring it, then I have to make them bring it. And that's elevating them, and by process elevating me.
And there's something quite expansive about that way of thinking. It's like you're kind of giving in a way. And I think the more you give, the more you kind of receive.
Yeah, I think so. I think if it's yin and yang in a way. If you give it both, it should be a perfect circle, and one should feed the other.
You said it should be a perfect circle?
Should be. Doesn't always work. Whether it be on me or be on them, sometimes it doesn't always work. Sometimes people just aren't meant to be in the ring. And you can only do so much.
Interesting. So you're saying it's not always a full circle? You give...
No,
so do you feel like you have received back from the business as much as you've put in?
No, I wouldn't. But wrestling doesn't owe me it. I'm not expecting it to give it back to me. I put what I put into it because I want the business to do well. And if I do well by the business, great. But to expect that is stupid. And I think anyone who does expect that needs to change their mindset. Because I mean, in COVID or before COVID, I spent all the time helping people who were being signed to NXT or at the time doing NXT tapings. We were one of the only places that could train. Don't come for me, government. But like, they were one of the only places that could start doing some training. And I didn't have a ludicrous NXT like coaching contract or anything like that from it. I didn't expect it. But I wanted them to be good. And, with new people, I wanted them to be good. And you've got to give to the business so it keeps going. And, eventually, hopefully, people see that and be like, cool. He's good, or he gives it back, or he can produce something we're looking for. Let's give him a shot, and that's how people get the shots. But if you're just expecting it, then it just won't happen.
And that's something you've observed?
It's stuff I've learned. Yeah, stuff I've learned. Pre-COVID me is very different to post-COVID me in what I've learned. With a lot of expectancy in pre-COVID me.
Right, so all this stuff's come through lived experience of being the one who...
Yeah. And it was a lot of it was very like, why am I not on Rev Pro? Why am I not on Progress? And people saying, you should be on Rev Pro, you should be on Progress. And it's like, well, before I'd be like, yeah, well, no, why am I not? This is this bullshit. And this, again, comparison. This person's on it, I should be. And someone said to me, the other side of COVID, which I really like as well, is that it's like when people choose an actor for a film. It's like, yeah, sure. There's Leo DiCaprio's, Matthew McConaughey's, Brad Pitt's, like all these cool actors. But if they're not the part they're looking for, They know what they're looking for. They specifically want this look, this person. Doesn't matter how good you are. We need that, but we need someone to do this. And they'll go with that. And once that got me, I was like, that's eased my mind so much more.
Because it's not about you or your abilities.
Yeah, it's not personal. It's not saying that you're terrible. It's just that they want to use this person. It's not like, no, that, you know, you're terrible, we won't use you. It's more, you're not even in the conversation for this other person we've seen. As 1,000 other people not even in the conversation for this other person you've seen. But we like this other person, we want to use this person. Not, we want to use this person instead of you. And once you get over that, you're like, oh, cool. Then there's nothing to be literally pissed about.
Well, I can imagine, especially like the higher up you go, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
that there's just going to be so much of those things going on. Just would have no choice other than to detach. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself insane.
Yeah. I think it's harder to. I don't know. Like I can only speak for myself. I don't know when the comparison thing's always there in some way with everybody. No matter how much you let it affect you, but I don't know how high you go, if it's greater or if it's less. I've not been to the tippy top, so I don't know. I don't know if it's worse or if it's better.
Yeah, well, I imagine there's a sense of comparison, or again, there's this like fine line between like comparison and competition.
Yeah, I
think
think competition's good. I think competitive is really healthy. I think comparison is, you defeat yourself a great amount of the time first because you write narratives that aren't real, that don't exist.
You mentioned pre-COVID you were of that nature.
Oh my God, yeah.
So what made that shift, or how did you come to that realization? Because there's one thing, as you were alluding to, kind of this realization, like, okay, this is how things are. But then actually like being open to hearing that. Like, did you have to go deeper within yourself to
I mean, COVID itself helped because you just realize there's so much bigger things going on. Like you're thinking about, oh my God, what if I'm not in a wrestling promotion in London and the world shuts down because of a pandemic? Like the entire world, then you didn't know what was going on in it, that shut down. Like, oh my God, what am I whining? Like, why am I complaining? And yeah, just again, the actor quote, the guy who said that to me just really helped me a lot when he said it. It just showing something away that I hadn't seen it and being like, yeah, of course. And just sometimes when you just see a different perspective that's not in like the field you're working in, because when we get tunnel vision, we only ever see something in like a wrestling field. But when you get presented like, it's like this in the real world, you're like, oh yeah. And then you realize wrestling is such a, like its own thing. Like, you know, we sometimes treat it as, oh my God, it's this whole thing. We want to get to these biggest promotions. But again, until you're signed, if you're on the street, no one's going to know who you are apart from the fans who are at those shows. No one's going to know who you are. It's not that big a deal.
This is why I thought wrestling's kind of a cool thing to be like at the top at, because you can kind of just blend into society.
Dude, yeah, 100%. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like there may be the odd fan who might watch the indies and might see it, but it's not like being a celebrity on the streets or anything like that. And I think, you know, we're all striving for like a slot that's like that, and we're all killing ourselves for a slot. And then when you realize, like, on the outside world, until you signed, it wouldn't matter anyway. People still wouldn't know who you are unless they know not even professional wrestling, unless they know independent wrestling, which is a tiny niche. Don't lose sleep over it.
Well, this is what I think. I mean, we mentioned LA Knight before. It's like LA Knight could probably walk around. I mean, he's, I guess, a bigger star now, but even him, it's like he could probably walk around London for a fair bit. Yeah, I'd imagine.
I would say pretty much everyone in NXT could. Like, again, obviously, the higher level you are, the more choice, and then when TV's involved, the more chance there is of people recognizing you. But I would still say, like, a much higher percentage will only ever see what's on Netflix on the main one. So unless you're like Seth, Roman, like all those people, yeah, people would recognize you. Until you're then, I'd still say, like, it's not, you obviously, it's quality will be realized more 100%. And I'm not comparing the indies to that, but if we're comparing like people on TV to like the very high people on TV, like super celebrity status. In wrestling, I wouldn't say there's that many. You'd probably walk through the streets and you'd be okay. Way better than actors. I think if like Hannah Waddingham went through like the streets, she'd be mogged. Wouldn't be able to go anywhere.
Well, it certainly makes you think about how like such a small world it is. Before we go into the close, I'd love to ask, because you've alluded to how you're ready for a bit more evolution in terms of your character. And beforehand, when you had evolved your character, that coincided with your personal life. So I guess my question is, what's next for Tommy Kyle? And does this feeling of wanting something a bit different intertwine with outside the ring as well?
So the actually wanting something different for the first time doesn't really intertwine with outside life at the moment. It purely intertwines with I'm a little bit bored of what I'm presenting personally, and I'd like a little change up. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy still what I'm doing. I do, but I am a bit like, I reckon I could try something more. I want to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit and give myself a challenge. Time is a bit difficult outside of wrestling at the moment. I'm quite busy. So, and I like to give these things time and effort to think of them. And there's all the things about like a look, gear, and, you know, music and whatever and things like that. So it's a lot to think of. So whether it happens soon or maybe it's a thing down the line, I don't know. I don't want to say too much about it because, you know, if it happens, it's better as a surprise or a slow turn. But yeah, we'll see if it happens. It might not. It might do.
As you were alluding to, you still feel that connection with the crowd, with your persona as you currently.
Yeah. No, I know what I bring. I enjoy making the crowd hate me. I would say I'm predominantly booked as a heel. I think there's maybe one promotion that books me as a babyface. But I know I've got a good connection with the crowd. I know I can get people on me, and I know I can make my opponent look good. So they will get on me, or they will gas up my opponent, and I'm very happy doing that at the moment. It's fun to me, and so I'm happy continuing that for a little bit.
I think you've summed it up quite nicely. I think when we do get a bit too comfortable, I think there's like something inside of us. It's like it needs to come out. We need to be challenged. So yeah, I think great example of that, and for going through all the challenges that you faced and becoming the man you are today. With that all in mind, shall we head into the closing traditions?
Yes, go on. Yeah, whatever they may be.
That's it. Well, the first two are routine. They're asked every week. And the third one is asked by a member of the Growth Voyage community.
Okay.
People who have either appeared on the podcast or listened to the show.
Okay, brilliant.
First one, it's nice and simple.
Yeah.
For some people. Some people find it quite a tricky one.
God. Yeah.
It's a song recommendation.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. Just anything. Any song recommendation. Oh God, you're asking me music teacher. I thought I'll have to go with just whatever I've listened to recently. What's like your genre of music? What do you like listening? Do you have a genre?
It's a mix. I used to be like, dance, house, maybe a bit of techno, and it was only those things.
Yeah.
Whereas I've kind of on a bit of everything now. You can give me a bit of electro swing.
Yeah.
You can give me, now and then, a bit of country.
Yeah.
Just a sprinkle of anything. I just watch out. I don't like anything mainstream top 40 or anything.
Cool.
Not a big fan of anything with, like, when you actually listen to song lyrics. Right? I mean, we talk about Max Moody Lens. There are certain songs, you listen to the lyrics and they're blasting this stuff all over the radio and everywhere. And when you listen to the lyrics, it's like, what is this teaching people?
Yeah.
Like, it's, honestly, just, a
lot of it's very safe. I would say it's very safe and very PG and very repetitive storytelling in songs in the charts. And that's not a bad thing, but it's very, I'd say 30 of them are about the same thing. Most of the time I find popular. So it's the same as the popular opinion of that demographic.
Well, I mean, if your song suggestion was going to be pop, then I won't judge.
No, it's not pop. No, don't worry. No, I will go for I'll go for a song called "What About Me" by a band called Snarky Puppy, who are basically just a select group of like about 20 or so musicians who just play some very cool music. It's there's sometimes get singers on, but a lot of the time it's not singers. It's just very creative, very well done music. What About Me, Snarky Puppy.
Wow. Well, I kind of see the link there between your story. It's like you're giving all the time. What about me? Where's my time to shine?
Wow, he's made the connection.
Wow. I think your point is, I mean, obviously you're a musician yourself.
Sure, yes.
Yeah. I must ask, pro wrestling, very creative pursuit as well. Was that creativity always something that you've nurtured?
Yeah, I would say so. I like performing. And I like, similar to kind of what you said about standing out, I don't like, I don't like normal traits, but I like things that are in school. I liked the subjects that were a little bit less followed. So music was not followed that much at all in school. So I loved it. And also just my dad was musical. And yeah, just from there stemmed my love of it. And I just thought it was really cool to put my effort into learning that as a skill. And then sports as well. And then by association, wrestling and everything that comes from that as well was, I'd say, definitely more popular than music. But where I was from it wasn't many people were sporty. So I really liked putting myself into that as well. So I guess that's where the two passions really have come from.
Wow. Yeah, again, I resonate so much with this idea of just doing what no one else is doing, just being in your own.
Yeah,
I
when I was younger,
cool.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And what a blessing to have a musician as a father.
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
Having that space to pursue your creativity.
Yes, yeah, and have it encouraged and nurtured. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
How many guys, are just like, right, you're going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And if you're not a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And if you're not a lawyer, you're going to, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. Really cool. I believe we all must. I believe a lot of the challenges we have in the world, a lot of challenges people have, is because their creativity and their like inner genius just hasn't been expressed.
I think so. Yeah, I would say so. I think a lot of people like to pick a slightly safer option, a slightly mundane option, because like you said, it's kind of the expectancy of what people want. Will become a lawyer, blah, 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 or doctor, accountant. Half of that stuff's going to be done by machines in like 10 years. Like, I think a creative edge, one, will be more fulfilling for your soul, let's say. But like, as a person, it's more fulfilling. Yeah, might not make shit tons of money as like an accountant, a lawyer, whatever. But I think when, you die, you'd be like, at least I wasn't behind a desk for like 50, 60 years of my life, or however long we'll end up working. At least I did something that I loved. I worked with something that I loved, and that was my job. And I think that when you die will be worth more than what you've earned.
And also, again, I think there's this like story about money, and I think that just keeps people quite like trapped sometimes. Like the amount of conversations I've had, two off the top of my head, Paul Adamy had on, he was a musician. Yeah. He made it to Broadway.
Right, and, yeah, very cool.
He didn't even have a plan. He just like followed his creative endeavor and he made it work. And then Dan Strauss, who we had on recently, he's basically made a career of himself, but without, I think he just made it clear he just didn't want to go down the traditional route, and he's made it happen. And he said like this limiting belief of money he said for him, connection has been far more important.
Right.
Because he's been able to travel around the world, and because he's got a reputation of being good with people, as you've alluded to, people just offer him like a place to stay, and like he's created all these cool opportunities.
Yeah, just network. Yeah, it's who you know. It's not what you know.
And that's something you've like really like. I don't want to say you haven't been preaching, but you get my point. It's something you've really like, embodied, which I think's really cool.
Yes.
Second one is a book recommendation.
Okay. So a video game I quite like is The Witcher. And that game is based off a series of books by an author. I might butcher his name a little bit. It's by a Polish author called Andrzej Spakowski, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that second name right. But yeah, The Witcher is based off a series of books, and I think there's about like 7 or 8 of them, I think. And I think he's still writing them. But there's one called The Last Wish, which is probably where it starts. But all of those series of books is really good. So The Witcher books, I would say, is really good. Or one that I read that's just a nice, easy read if you don't want to get into too much of it is Thursday Murder Club. Really good book. Who is, I can't remember who does it, who's the author. It's a super smart tall guy, but I can't remember his name. It'll come back to me. I think it's Richard Osmond. He's Richard Osmond. But yeah, Thursday Murder Club's really good as well.
Is it about murder?
Yes. Yeah, it's about a group of people at basically a retirement home, and they basically have like what we call a Thursday Murder Club, where they kind of like talk about a potential murder and they try and solve it as like a game. And then a murder actually happens in the hotel, and then they all come together and they solve the murder. But yeah, it's really, really clever. Very funny.
Well, it's a great storyline for your promotion. That comes.
Oh, yeah. We could definitely do Thursday Murder Club as a promotion. Book it. Let's do it. Let's run it.
Excited for that.
I really want to do, if I complete left field, if a promotion gave me completely creative freedom, I really want to do Nativity at Christmas time in wrestling. I don't know how it would work, but I really think there's a market to do the whole Nativity over a show with wrestling telling the story of like the birth of Jesus and everything. Like I'm not religious in that way, but it's such a well-known story, and I could just see it happening. You've got your 3 wise men, which is like a triple threat. You've got an intergender of Joseph and Mary, or custody of Jesus match. And I'm sure you could get like, I don't know, some kind of the king is like a Roman Reigns type figure or something like that. And he's, I don't know, like, I just think there's a market for it. So if you're looking for creative and you want to run it,
wow,
get in touch.
Yeah. Maybe you should get in touch with Tate when that happens. Give his influence.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be up his street.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't get accused of blasphemy, but I like the idea.
No. It's educational. Educational, not blasphemous.
Oh wait, and it is. Yeah. It is like such a great action book. There's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, okay. Well, with that in mind,
yeah.
You talked about your own promotion. If you had to start your own promotion today,
okay, yeah,
right? Things have clicked,
sure,
so to speak. Who would be in your promotion? You can pick 10 wrestlers, 2 general managers, and a ring announcer. And it can be anywhere.
From anywhere. Oh man. Well, I'm just gonna pick WJ Reed because I want to sell tickets. I mean, if I could pick anyone, dead or alive?
Sure.
10 wrestlers. So, Rock, Cena, Taker, Roman, Trish Stratus. Lita. Will Ospreay. MJF. Ron Breaker. Obafemi. Which is a real mix.
Wow.
Trying to get everything.
Just get all those dream matches.
Yeah. Just trying to literally cover as much as I can of ground, past and present, and stylistically, I guess. I could have Ospreay versus Lita. Like it doesn't have to be necessarily the women wrestling each other. But and what was the other one? I could have two
general managers,
two GMs. I'd have the anonymous Raw general manager, just the computer. I think that's fun. And then I would have. I'd have Heyman.
Oh, as a GM.
Yeah, I'd have Heyman as a GM. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Was there one in there as well?
Ring announcer.
Who's the guy that does the boxing? Famous one. Let's get ready to Bruce Buffer. Is that his name? I think it's Bruce Buffer. But whoever does the boxing, let's get ready to rumble. That guy, him. 100%. Yeah, 100%.
And would you be kind of like in guerrilla behind the scenes?
Oh my God, no! I'd be buying a ticket. But if I had to, then yeah, sure, I'd be on the headset. Yeah, but I would make sure there are a lot better people than me doing it. I would just be like, yeah, I like that idea. So yeah, that's great.
Delegate.
You have my blessing. Yes, please. Draw me money.
And you didn't mention yourself there.
No.
Would you want to get involved? Not as like an anonymous general manager. And
I mean, if you want me to press the button, yeah. No, but no reveal. No, absolutely not.
So wait, would this anonymous general manager, would it ever have a reveal? Would it just be forever?
No, yeah, just it depends how much. Depends how many shows we run. Maybe it would come to a reveal of someone. But if I've got my 10 wrestlers, my 2 GMs, and a 1 ring announcer, I'll keep people guessing who's the ring announcer, who's the GM. I wonder who was making the decisions.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some interesting matches there.
Yeah, it's a hard one. 10 is hard. Yeah, 10 is hard. You asked me the question again, I'd probably change them, but I'll stick to those 10.
Right. There's the short form content sorted. To get all the comments saying, "Well, he did. How could you not put this person?"
Yeah, no, I'm sure I anger a few people with it, but
okay. Well, we're down to our final question. You've made it through the Max Moody Lens, the interrogation, looking through the soul. But there is one question left, and this one comes in from Ryan Martin, aka Craig Ryan, and he asks, what is the best thing you learned to let go of that has helped you grow?
Oh, that's deep. Gosh. I would say I'm still letting go of it, to be fair. But I think I guess it's in a way similar to the comparison thing, but I think it's more, rather than people, it's expectation to be at a certain point in your life. So like, I should be here by this age. I had that really recently, like a bit last year, and like a huge sort of like self-talk, like, oh my God, like I'm 30 years old, like, you know, where should I be? And there's a whole film about oh my God, I can't remember his name. It's Tick Tick Boom. Basically about a Broadway writer who is trying to get on Broadway before he's 30, and he ends up unfortunately dying. But his things do make it to Broadway after his death, and he did Rent and he did Tick Tick Boom, real popular Broadways. But that whole film is about like, is he going to amount up to anything by the time he's 30? And my mindset was like, oh my God, like, you know, I've not made £1 million. Like, I haven't got like a 3-story house. I don't drive like a flash car. And I never wanted to be rich, but it was like, oh, should I be doing more at 30 years old? Should I have succeeded more? And just conversations I've had with people, and just, you know, young and old, has just made me realize times have changed and it's harder. The world's not the same as it used to be. And just because you don't have the materialistic on paper to show doesn't mean you're less of a person. Everyone has like a journey. Everyone is in their own time. If you're healthy, if you've got good people around you, if you have a vision, if you're ambitious, if you're heading towards somewhere, doesn't have to be on a single path. You can have loads of different branches, but as long as you're going down one of them, that's all that really matters, to be fair. And I think letting go of the fact that there's like, I should have been at this point, I should have X, X, X. And a little bit on the same, because maybe someone I know has X, X, X. Their circumstances are different. You don't know the extent of their circumstances, how they got there, what they suffer with, blah, blah, blah. You have your own journey as well. You've gone through things. Some stuff's worked in your favor, some stuff hasn't. There's still loads of time to come. Don't try and hold yourself like accountable to where you think you should have been at a certain time, because you could be 2 years later and be somewhere you didn't expect in a good way. You're like, I never thought I would have seen myself here, and it's completely on the different end of the spectrum. So yeah, I would say that trying to not worry too much about where you are, where you think you should be in life, and appreciating where you are and what you do have in life.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you sharing that, because I think that's like a big one for many, like many people.
Oh my
I
gosh,
think will resonate with that. And I think there is something about this like £1 million and 30. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah,
but Peter, you're not the first person who's said that. Like, where does that?
Yeah, not necessarily like that, but like people, I think there's sometimes an expectation, or like some people have self-expectation to be like, I need to be in a job that is paying X by this point, so that I can have the house, have the car, provide for the family and stuff. Maybe just because we see that some other people do have that, but probably the majority and that we don't see don't have that. But again, we only see what we kind of wish we had, I think, a lot of the time. And we go, God. And it's like, well, you know, that, again, you don't know that person's circumstance. They could be doing that and they could be miserable. Because they haven't got like a lot of family, a lot of friends, or a lot of love in their life. Or they're working like ridiculous hours to have that and they don't have a life. Or, you know, they just don't do what they enjoy. You just don't know. So the only thing that you do know is what you have. And I think that's what you just have to kind of appreciate.
Yeah, massively. What was it? It was like the most wealthy person on earth isn't the person who has the most money. It's the one who finds the most joy in everything they have.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think that's a good thing to, a good thing to bear in mind. I do think, you can, what is it? Like happiness is like priceless kind of thing, isn't it? There's a better phrase for it, but I can't remember what it is.
I think people get the idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wicked message to finish off. I mean, yeah, like I said, how many people can resonate with that feeling? And it seems like you kind of learned those lessons again, not just by going through it, but I think just being open to learning, wanting to change your situation, circumstance as well, which I think is a testament to your character. How you've carried yourself through. So appreciate you sharing. It's been a wonderful conversation.
No, mate, pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Most welcome. Where can people find you if they want to?
So you can find me on Insta at tcow01. You can find me at shows around Hertfordshire, Oxfordshire, Bedfordshire, Wales, Essex. Usually I'll be around those kind of areas. I think I have a Twitter, but I don't really use it that much. TommyCow95, I think it is. or it's TCAO01, but I don't use it too often. Yeah, main place to find me is on Insta, TCAO01. Or at Square One, where I teach beginners on Thursdays.
There you go. You heard the man. Put links in the description. Tommy, thank you so much, brother.
Thanks for having me, man. Cheers. Thank you.